Now you fuck it. I need to sync it twice now.
Welcome to our 4th episode of Sparc. And today I'm not on my own. I have not one guest, but 2 guests. Well, not really guests, right? I mean, this is also your podcast. No, welcome everyone to this episode of Sparc. Today, as you can see, we don't have a guest with us, but we decided to sit down together and to talk a bit about what we experienced the past months. So you guys get to know us, what we are doing, why we are doing what we're doing. So that's why, I feel a bit like the host today because I sit in the middle, actually on a great chair, which says Louis Zitter, which is the wonderful man on my right side. Welcome, Louis. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Alice, to the podcast. Welcome to the boss chair.
Thank you. I do feel it does feel quite good to sit here, I must admit that.
You're under control.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I also have Sabi on my left side. Welcome, Sabi.
Welcome.
I can get used to this, actually. So, for the beginning, before we talk about everything...
You look tanned. What happened?
Yes, I just come from vacation. Thank you, Sabi, for mentioning it. I had a great time.
No, don't worry. I can remove it in the color grading, so the joke doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah, right. So that people think I only work. I never go on vacation. So, I have some burning questions for you guys. Just short ones. So that, I know probably what you guys will answer.
Really?
Anyways, both of you are very eager to found, which we can talk about later as well. See, we have some professional things going on.
Yeah, we're not used to having 3 people here.
No, so we have to adjust a bit. I have the world's smallest microphone, which feels very cool to have, right? So the first question, the first burning question, since you both want to found. Founding in B2B or B2C?
B2B.
Yeah, Sabi, that was clear. B2B. Why would I do B2C?
B2C is boring.
But Louis, it's a bit harder. Huh?
I think I like B2C more.
Yeah.
Because actually it's more interesting.
I would agree.
But of course, you cannot sort of have this safety of saying, I have 10 letter of intents and I can raise some capital on basis of that or start developing products. You actually need to, in my opinion, you need to do more work in the beginning. But later on, it's more fun, and also I think there are a lot of business cases also unused at the moment, or basically not fulfilled. So I think there's a lot of space because everybody's concentrating on B2B.
So Louis is cooking. Do we get that out of that answer?
Of course.
Well, I would agree. I would also say B2C. If I found one day, who knows? I think I would consider B2C before B2B.
We should both be expelled to Berlin from Munich.
Right. That was also a burning question.
B2C.
Yeah, Berlin is more the B2C hub.
Okay.
Yeah, with all the big companies. But we do have B2C companies in Munich as well.
Sure.
Like Air Up.
Yeah.
Komoot.
Yeah. No, they were in Berlin lately, no? I think they moved to Berlin.
They are from Munich.
They start from Munich.
Yeah, I think
they just hit an exit, so...
So actually, I met someone 2 weeks ago at a party from my parents, and he works with B2C companies as an advisor, and he said we shouldn't underestimate the B2C startups of Munich, and I think that's true. Okay, let's move on.
How about you, Alice?
Yeah, I said more B2C, but I think that's not very surprising, is it?
True. But what's your reason for it?
It's more creative. I think you can be, personally, if I want to found, I want to build a brand, I want to build an identity.
What kind of a brand?
Come on, this is not supposed to be a burning chair where I sit. I am the one moderating here.
Too late.
No, I just think personally I'm more of a consumer-centric person. That my background is also more, I just love understanding people and I love understanding how communities build. And I think this is definitely more something you need in a B2C space than in the B2B space.
Your matcha bike.
My matcha bike.
Thank
you.
Did you guys know that you can actually now officially book Alice's matcha bike?
But what's a matcha bike?
Pitch.
So just like 5 minutes before starting this episode, I told Sabi, who didn't know yet, that I now, with my sister, we now own a matcha bike, which is basically just a coffee bike that people rent out for events. And we created the same concept, but we sell matchas on our matcha bike. So you can rent us for any event. And I told them, do not mention that in the podcast.
Well, this was number one item on my list, like to cross off.
She really said like, don't say it. I was like, I'm saying it.
But to be honest, I love the spirit, like just to do something small and to get into the nitty-gritty of actually.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
And with your sister, I would
it's
love
community
to do
building, it's brand building, it's, it's also giving something to a city, right? Because it gives experiences.
Next time we're gonna have it here on the pod and like as a background. That would be so.
Well, it's
We can
quite
make
big
a
actually.
podcast on the. We would like make a whole format. You sit on the bike, and the guest is like drinking their
your
matcha,
matcha.
and it's like 15 minutes.
That's fun.
That could be a nice new format for us. Let's move on to the next question, which is morning bird or night owl? I know you are a night owl for sure. Louis, I would say you would like to be a morning bird, but you're also a night owl.
It depends what morning means. I would say like my
7 to 8 to start
it's
with
okay.
work.
It's okay.
But do you rather start early or stay late?
I would say depends also on the phase, really. Like on what type of work you try to do. So if
Right now, Louis.
right now. I start working at 8:30, I would say. So I'm in between. So it's not really. But it really depends on the type of work you do. So creative work, for example, you need that all the work part of the day is done.
It's done.
So your mind is free. So it's better to do it in the evening. But stuff you can really like push out, it's easier to do it in the morning. I would say it really depends.
I would agree on that. I am a morning bird. I work best from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11. And then from 11 to 3 o'clock, I like chatting with a lot of people. And then starting from 3, I work again. I work best at 3 again. Okay, last burning question. And this will be a tough one. G40 or G41?
G41, like, don't even discuss it. That's the truth. We both know it. We all know it. And they can fight for it. G41, I love each and every one of you.
G40, don't take this. Like,
no,
fight back on Sabi. I mean, we're friends. I cannot really like fight you, but
G41.
we both know that G40 is overachieving. So,
What did you overachieve?
of course.
Look, 2 of 3 in this podcast are from G40.
Fair.
That's proof enough, I
Fair.
would say.
So for everyone not knowing what we're talking about, so we, all 3 of us, we know each other from Manager More. And this is actually how this all happened. And we will talk about that in a second. But we at Manager More, so Manager More is a scholarship by Unternehmertum for future entrepreneurs and leaders. And we are an 18 months program for every student in Munich. So it doesn't matter if you're from TUM, LMU, Hochschule München, or any other university in Munich, you can apply. Like Louis, he's from HFF in Munich.
Yes, I'm from the University of Television and Film.
Which is really, so now we can also say, Louis is a filmmaker, you can book him for anything for your company.
Sure, you can book me if you need, like, I don't know, films films to show your vision, or commercials, product films, testimonials. Testimonials are actually my special thing, so
Really?
I'm good at interviewing.
I mean, you see the
Behind
quality,
the
right?
like, if I'm not in the picture.
You see the quality, so this is all Louis' work. And Sabina, we need to find one last thing we can promote from your side. What we're getting there.
We'll get there.
So at Manage More, every semester there are about 20 students that get selected for this 18 months program. In this 18 months program, we do everything from startup, like education in the entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship space, But we also focus a lot on founding our own company and do a lot of personal development via coaching. But also we have an academy format. We have different workshops with amazing people to take part in. And honestly, the reason why you join Manager More is the community, the like-minded people you meet, the people that actually make sure that you get challenged every day, but that also make sure that you achieve your goals. And I think that's just the most wonderful thing. And also this podcast shows that you just need the right people to actually start something and sit here. And at Manager More, since we have 20 scholars that start every semester, we have this concept called Generation. And we started 20 years ago, a bit more than 20 years ago, with Generation 1. And Luis and I, we joined Manager More in September 2023, and we are Generation 40. And Sabi joined half a year later, beginning of 2024, as Generation 41. And ever since we know Sabi, it's a huge discussion which generation is better.
It's always a competition between me and her. Louis just jumped in today.
Yeah, Sabi and I like to compete a lot with the different things. But I think,
it's part of the game.
I mean, I would say, as area marketing already won,
why did area marketing
we can give you the win and let also G40 win, right?
No, I didn't. don't politics with
because
me.
you
No.
would have won twice.
Yeah,
right?
on both sides.
I mean, that's a nice side effect.
So I think we talk a bit in like weird languages here at Manager More, and we have our internal projects which are called areas. So we work in areas for the program, and we have area marketing where Sabi was area head for the past, still is. So since like half a year. And
basically we do stuff to keep the scholarship running and to enhance the program.
Exactly.
Like organize some nice exchange programs, do the marketing, recruiting, stuff like that.
And Luis was also part of area marketing. Actually, Luis and I, we met because we're in one generation, but we started working together not only because we worked in our business design deep dive, which is the first project that you do at Manager More, where you work as innovation consultant, but we also worked on the project of the image movie and the deep dive. So if you haven't seen our Manager More image movie, go watch that now. And also watch the deep dives if you want to know a bit more about Manager More. So this is how also Luis got involved a lot. So thank you very much again for that, because I know you had a lot of sleepless nights with that project.
No sleepless nights.
No, I'm gonna wait in a few months, the three of us.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're graduating in 3 months, and 3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then we'll be one of the illustrious alumni, which are amazing as well, which are great mentors also.
But time flies.
But time flies, yeah.
Time flies.
So we met through Manager More. As I just said, Luis and I, we worked together quite intensively in our first 6 months at Manager More. And I actually don't know how I met Sabi. Sabi just happened to be there one day. He was
Sabi's
just there.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Sabi's everywhere.
That's the basic principle.
You just don't get around him.
Don't mess with me.
And yeah, I think today it must have been like 8 months ago that this project started in, I would say, end of July, beginning of August. This project.
Actually, even before the idea started.
The idea was around for Manager More to have a podcast for a very long time.
But the official start, I would say, end of July, start of August, where we start like putting in the hours and putting the work. End of July, yeah.
But it progressed, I would say. There were some weeks during the summer vacation where not that much was happening, I would say.
But we were like still figuring it out if we want to do it or not. What does it take? Doing research. Do we even have time for it? So we started like that. But why did you even start it, Louis? Just to let you know, the whole idea, the whole project started by him.
I mean, that's not entirely true, right? So the idea of a Manager More universe podcast, I would say, I would call it, or like Utum universe podcast, was floating around since, I don't know, G25 or something, probably. So, and I just heard it from like everybody was like, we could do a podcast. And I was in area marketing with you as well. And then actually Frank Thelen commented on the Manager More image film. Was like going like, it's amazing that you do this, blah, blah, blah. And then I took the opportunity just to answer his comment and to say like, hey, we're actually starting a podcast. Would you mind being our number one guest?
Although we didn't have anything at that time.
Yeah,
it was.
So I just had this thing in my ear and I was like, okay, maybe we're going to start this as an internal project next semester. So let's try to catch him. And then like everybody from the community was like commenting and liking this as well, which was really, really nice. And then he actually answered and said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then
Spoiler.
we thought, shit, okay, now we have to do it. And then we kickstarted the whole thing. And spoiler alert, Frank Thelen is not going to be on the show anytime soon.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We are working on it.
Tag him if you see this. Please tag him, guys, and let's make it happen.
So, but actually, we gotta reach out to him again. So I
Yes.
think his his communications person changed
This is
jobs,
done right.
and I think we got a little bit lost between the
Transition.
chairs in the transition. So let's have a look.
I will never forget how you called me. Like as soon as he wrote this kind of comment, and then his assistants or Franklin himself commented also on it. Yes, I will be on. He started calling people like crazy. Hey, do you want to be part of this? And Jesse called me like I think it was at 3 in the afternoon, and I was like, "Hi, Lewis." He was like, "Hey, I have a project. I need you on board." And I was like, "Okay, I'm in, but let's think about it."
Yeah.
And then he like called the program management and everyone. We were 6 in the team when we like. I still remember when we all of us trying to convince the program management, like making our case. That was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, you need some kind of package to offer them, right? It's not, you cannot have Frank Thelen just come to Munich for 1 hour podcast nobody knows. You need sort of to give him a little bit more incentive, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I try to spin. Yeah.
Actually, I was not part of the podcast back then. I only joined beginning of September, so a couple of weeks later. Lucky me.
No, we needed you.
So yeah, we started, I think in September, beginning or mid-September, we then actually started to really focus on what could this actually look like? What do we want to achieve with this? Because we all know there are so many podcasts out there. And we also, I mean, we're not naive, right? We know there's a lot of competition, and we know the only reason why we would spend so much time is if we actually produce something that is valuable and that people would actually want to listen. And we don't want to start a project that is dead after a couple of weeks. And so we sat down, we put actually a lot of time into
this time consuming.
figuring out what are we doing, also figuring out what style of podcast we want to do. I think from very early on, we knew we wanted to have a video podcast because video podcast is a bit the thing right now, right? You can leverage it for social media quite well. It gives a personal touch to it. Also, I just really wanted to build a studio, not gonna lie. Huge motivation. And so, I don't know, everything started. We needed to figure out where is the studio? Where will the studio be?
Yeah, that took us also a bit of time.
That took us a lot of time. So I think until end of October, we met multiple times a week and we just sat down and discussed. Because we really wanted to actually have a creative project that will be valued by people. And not that we just randomly start one day and then realize at the end, oh, we missed so many things, or we could have done it a bit better, or anything. And yeah, I hope.
And I mean,
that everybody sees
at the beginning, we thought that we were going to be like internal at Manager More, so like a marketing project for Manager More, and then we sort of spun out. So that also took some time, I would say.
Yeah.
To come to that decision. Yeah.
Also, when we thought about what can this podcast be compared to others, I think we soon came to the conclusion that we want to stand for the values that we at Manager More have, which is the number one value, community, to be part of a community and to be part of a community that actually thrives to be a better one every day and that thrives to inspire and enable the people around you. So
that explains our logo, by the way.
Yes.
We know how to write the word Sparc in the right way, but we decided to change the K of the original word Sparc for C,
For C, for
because it stands for community.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think also the reason, I mean, we all three, I would say we are the perfect example of how much we take out of the community and how much the community and the experience at Manager More change our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, Luis and I, we both were non-existent in the startup ecosystem before we joined Manager More. And I think we were just completely inspired by what we experienced. And this was the goal, after all, because not everybody can be part of a scholarship. Not everybody can be part of an ecosystem like we have. But there are so many talented people out there that maybe just need the right motivation, the right inspiring person to listen to then start a project. Because we need that, right? We have the people that are super smart and we have the people that have so many ideas. But sometimes just beginning seems to be very hard. And I remember beginning seemed very hard before joining Manager More. But just having people around you that show you day to day what beginning means is just really nice. And this is actually where we started.
Community where you can ask people, like, how did you do it? Hear their stories, see, okay, they're human as well. They fail. So stuff like that really, I think, is important because if you think about entrepreneurship or like doing something big, you don't think that it's something that you can do, and you need that kind of peer group and to know that it's reachable to actually start believing in yourself. And let's hope that people listen to this. I mean, either they already have this behind them and they're just trying to keep up with the community. That's, of course, legit, but also for the others that you can really take something out of this.
Totally stand by that. I mean, the community that we have is really impressive, especially that you see someone who can look you on the eye and tell you, hey, I'm going to build a unicorn. And is so confident about it to the point that you're like, how don't you even have 1% doubt in your system? And that for me was like, okay, people are here to kind of make stuff. They are really here to build stuff. And everyone is here like, if you have a problem, they will just jump in. Hey, how can we help? And if you are achieving something, hey, congrats, and they will be happy for you. So there is no like really competition or like fights or who's going to be really...
The competition is a good part.
You think about, entrepreneurs, they're like this competition-oriented people. But actually... I mean, it's not all about entrepreneurship. We can also talk about the other parts. I mean, it's also entrepreneurship, personal development. And so there's a lot of stuff that's like big project or like doing projects, right? But people don't compete. It's crazy. People really, really collaborate and try to help each other. And it's unbelievable, actually. Like, how did this happen? That there's like community people just help each other. And they cheer each other on. It's really awesome. Yeah,
it's also because you just create a safe space, right? And I think overall, when we select our guests and when we decide who to invite for our podcast, we really want to make sure that we have people that are also vulnerable, right? That talk about mistakes, that talk about personal topics. And I think with that, with being vulnerable and being very personal, I think with that we achieve this spark, this inspiring part. Okay. Because not everything is about money or being successful in the end. So not every project you start will be successful. But in order to start, you need to feel like other people also share their failures. And so this is how this all became a thing. And in the end, Luis already mentioned it. We started as a Manager More project. And we still stand here and want to represent the values and the community of Manager More. But we decided to make this not a Manager More podcast to make sure that this podcast stays alive and that we can take it to the next level over the next months and weeks, even though we will not be part of Manager More in 3 months from now. Yeah. What Sabi said.
Still going to be part of Manager More, but not
as an alumni,
actively.
But not active.
Yeah.
So let's continue with a very very good question. Like, not good question. I mean, of course, it's a good question because it's a question that I wrote down. But no.
That's the confidence she were talking about.
Yeah. And we
So-
need to stand with that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm
important.
the one sitting in the middle today, so.
Best question she gets. She has the best question, guys.
So, what has changed since we started with the podcast? Because
Podcasts.
I know
Always
for a
managing
fact.
more.
What?
Podcasts.
No podcast.
Okay.
I mean, since Manage More, everything changed in my life. But like, no, podcast related, because I'm pretty sure that a lot has changed that we had never anticipated when starting this project.
Two things changed for me. I'm pretty sure I want to found. Like 100%. I am more eager into like building stuff and like building system around it. And I'm not the one that I would really fit into corporate or like 9 to 5. I'm still too young for that, and I still have energy, like loads of energy I want to put in like different projects.
But if you want to go into corporate, even if you're young. It's just whatever.
It does not fit me, at least. It does not
We're
fit
not
me.
bashing any life decision here.
Where exactly did you see that? Like talking to the guests?
Some of the founders that we had, talking to them, their experience, and why did they found. And I think it's also really important, like, to really think, why do you want to found? Is it just because it's cool, or it's just a trend nowadays? I think after one episode, can I name him or her?
Sure.
Philip Stehlig. I think it was really obvious, okay, sit down with yourself, do a really deep reflection, why do you want to found? Because it's not the easiest journey you will have, and the chance of failing is way too high. So I think after that recording, I went home, took a shower, sat down with my laptop, and like wrote 2 pages PDF reflecting on why do I want to found. And then I'm really eager that I want to found. I want to go through that experience to really like, because if I don't do it, I will feel something missing in my life. And this is the perfect time for me actually to do it, because I don't want to do it while having family, or like that's another part of my life that I need to make sure that I'm always there, always available, that it's safety net, that is financial safety also. But now it does not matter for me, because what's the worst that could happen? And the second thing I got from the podcast is that my network really got bigger. The guests, I still have access to them. Some of them I think we meet for dinners from time to time. They are really like easier to access right now. I have their phone numbers, and they are really high quality people that either have deep knowledge on what they do. So if I have a question, for example, in, I don't know, patents, I will call Marcus Miller. He is a lawyer.
We're doing some name dropping. Who's gonna?
Just to let you know, he knows what he's doing. If I want to kind of have an idea about founding and at the same time taking care of myself, I'll call Andreas Loy. So if I have a question like about how can I don't know, found in France, not in Germany, I will call Helmut. Like, there are different people that you can really reach out right now to. You can write them an email, even like, because you already know them. They already know you, and you already, like, don't have to have an impression and just wait for their emails. You just have already the contact. You have already the 1 foot into the door. So that's what really helped a lot. And I still I also have in my to-dos, like, to reach out to some of the guests once in a while, to make sure that the relationship stands always there. So yeah, that's my part of the business.
Nice. Sounds good. I should be on that podcast.
Did you listen to the podcast? Did you listen to the episodes?
Sure. I mean, we edited
Which
them.
one?
Come on.
Yeah, because after editing them, I couldn't really listen to myself one more time. It kills me. Like, in editing, it killed me.
I didn't re-listen, to be honest.
After the editing, I couldn't really.
I listened a little bit, but then I was like, okay, no.
Yeah, because honestly, like, every episode I edit is like, I repeat a lot of like the frames to the point that I really know what's coming on next. Like, I know what's going on now. Even for your episode, like, I was like, okay, I try to like re-listen, but I think after the 20 minutes, I was like, I know what's coming my way. I already know what she's gonna say. Like, what's the next topic?
Yeah, I think especially if you are here when we record and then you cut and then I don't know, like my job from us three is to do the social media, so I cut the reels and also like when cutting the reels and then I listened to my own episode and after 5 minutes I was like, no, I know the hooks, I don't want to listen to it. And also I think if you recorded the episode and you did so much research on the person up front and you met the person and then you listen to your episode and you're like, why did you say that? Why didn't you ask this? Why did like you go through the conversation once again, but with a critical, with criticizing yourself. And I think that's also something you need to learn, that obviously it's good to criticize yourself to become
By the way,
better.
guys, is somebody looking at the watch? Like
Yes.
Time? Okay. That's
I have
good.
it under control.
Just to make sure.
So what about you, Luis?
What changed for you?
What changed?
Except that you have more work now.
Better
That's a good
hairstyle.
one. I mean, I pretty much agree with Sabi, but I think it's more about going out the step to put out content on a regular basis. That's also important to me, I would say. I mean, I cannot just say the same. It's boring. And also, I think it's not so much about the access to the people, to be honest, but more about sitting in a room with them and talking for an hour, and you really get the impression, okay, the other person is also just a human being. And also people only come if they're okay with talking a little bit about stuff that didn't go well maybe, or that they've had problems with. And then you also see, wow, okay, they are struggling with X, Y as well. And that really sort of helped build my confidence a little bit that I could be doing something like them as well. And just this confidence boost, I would say, is for me the biggest change. But there's still room to improve, I would say. So we need some more guests for, I don't know, unofficial season 2.
So officially we're in season 1 right now. We don't know how long the season 1 will be.
It will just continue forever.
So 22. Right now we have
22. Then we are on the 1% of the podcast quantity.
Of the longest running podcast.
Yeah, of the quantity wise.
So right now we have 13 episodes recorded.
This is number 14.
This is number 14. So this is our 4th episode that we will publish. So we have another 10 for sure, and I think we will have another at least 5 for season 1.
Yeah, already planned basically.
Yeah. I couldn't agree less actually with what you guys said.
You couldn't agree less.
Couldn't agree more.
What's coming now? Now the competition is going on again.
Competition, so sorry. No, sorry, that was my mistake. I couldn't agree more. I would say that something I didn't expect was actually how much it helps to connect with people. Mm-hmm. So the amount of interesting conversations that I had, even though the people are not in the podcast or do not come as guests at events, is really nice. Like, it gives you a reason to talk to people. It gives you a reason to connect. And it's also crazy, like, how just having a nice conversation with someone can actually lead them to giving you a number to a person that you would like to invite for the podcast. So these are like the numbers of coincidences that I have or had ever since we started this podcast are just mind-blowing, actually. So I think for that and for what Sabi said, for the, let's call it, networking aspect, it changed a lot, which I think nobody of us expected when we started. This is like a completely...
I mean, the thing is, we're noobs, right? That's also one thing I want to... That's number 2 on my checklist that I want to say today.
I want to know all the checklists. All of the checklists.
I mean, we have not found it yet. Or not for real. So...
What do you mean? My matcha bag is not real?
Yeah. I also have this like image film company, whatever, but it's not the startup-y thing. It's like more the traditional small business type-y. So we don't know shit. So it's just really interesting also just to listen to people and to learn. I mean, that's our main mission, right? Like to have some learnings on this more personal level, like how do you deal with stuff, but also really topic focused. How do I actually do this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I
From
what I
0
would
to
say.
1.
It's
Yeah.
the VC game. How do I play the VC game? Just to learn stuff and just to be curious.
Yeah.
And we don't know. We have not done anything like
Yeah.
Yeah.
as like on the level of our guests. So we can just learn so much. That's
Absolutely.
To be honest, that's the thing I like the most.
Absolutely. What also changed a bit for me, and personally, I was never someone that had the feeling that I needed female like role models. I always had the feeling, and I think that's also because the community at Manager More is very supportive and has not this like let's call it toxic masculinity that a lot of females encounter in the business world. So that's why I never felt the urge to have female role models. But ever since starting the podcast and talking to different women that founded or women that are in the business world, it feels very empowering for myself actually. And we can be very honest and raw here. People notice that also with our trailer. For right now, from the 14 episodes we recorded, we have 2 women.
Which is crazy.
As guests.
We did not expect that.
I
to be
didn't
honest.
also expect
it's crazy, but
And
it's not on us actually.
No.
It's on the world.
It's not that we don't find women that are crazy at what they do, that are crazy good at what they do. It's not that we don't contact these women. We have enough
Reach out.
Yeah, we have enough female founders. We have enough people that do great work. It's more that it's harder to convince women that they need to talk about what they do than it is to convince men. So the amount of replies that I have gotten with the reason I need to focus on my company or I need to focus on what we're building right now is huge compared to what we get from men. If men reply, they usually say, hell yes.
Yeah.
When am I
Yeah,
supposed to
crazy.
come? And with the women, it's super hard. So I think I can only talk for myself. I don't know. I think Sabi and Luis, you also contacted a lot, but I think I contacted more females than males. And it's just very frustrating. So,
But we're turning the ship around now.
but we are working heavily on it. And I think, and I mean, for instance, we just recorded an episode with Annika Mutius. And that was a great episode because it just showed me that we have women that want to talk. And we have women that want to be role models for other girls out there. And we have a pipeline full of women. We have not recorded yet, but it took longer than expected to get them on the show. So for everyone who noticed that in the trailer, we were well aware of that.
Yeah.
It was not on purpose. It was, unfortunate that we had so little female in the trailer.
Yeah, she was going to say so many males.
No, so little female in the...
And I mean, like, of course, we're not doing this podcast full time, so we're just limited on the amount of reach outs we can do. So
Yeah.
at some point, we just had to sort of accept it the way it went.
But do you
Yeah.
imagine yourself working full time on Sparc? Would you?
That's a tough question
it
for
depends
us.
on where it grows, right? And where the other stuff that I'm working on would
But
grow
let's say
to.
it grows enough to the point that you need to make a decision. Would it be passionate enough for you? Would it be like something eating you from the inside to make it big or not? Or you would say,
I think it really depends. I mean,
I think
it's awesome, but the other stuff's also awesome. And if both things work, I would rather try to balance it than to kill one thing because I'm just really interested in stuff. So I'm more in for the interesting part and not for the maximizing success of one thing. So at the moment, at least, yeah. How's it for you? Would you go all in? I mean, I know you can channel your inner Stephen Bartlett.
Did you all listen to Andreas Lohr episode where he said he was invited to Diary of a CEO, but declined and came to our...
and come to us. That's.
Are we proud of that?
I'm not sure how true is that story. I would be interested in that.
It's true enough for me to believe it.
How much Sabi spin is on there, or like how much Andreas spin is on there?
Andreas told me that.
Sabi loves to tell stories and make them big.
Yeah.
And loves to make them, like when Sabi pitches our podcast, it's completely different than if Luis or I say something about the podcast.
So we're
It's
probably
like-
like, oh, we have this small, nice
Yes, we
podcast,
just
you know, we invite
started.
some people from startup world.
You need
and
to
fun.
believe in the vision, guys.
And Sabi is
Selling
like,
the
Exactly.
vision.
we are Diary of a CEO 2.0 from Germany. Well, our goal is to beat Stephen Bartlett at his own game.
Until he gave me a job. If he give me Stephen, if you listen to this, I know that you listen to all of our episodes.
For sure.
If you need a really good person in sales or whatever, just hit me up. I would switch sides in a bit.
I would feel betrayed.
Really?
No.
I would, for sure.
If you don't record any episodes anymore with us, I would feel betrayed.
Then I will stay here.
And also I would like appeal to your confidence. Like, why are you sort of subjugating, you know, to Stephen Bartlett and not building your own cool thing, you know? Why are you
That's
going
not-
to work
yeah.
for someone else when you can build
That's
your own
weird.
That's
thing?
not the
fair.
entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah, for me, full time, I don't see myself doing Sparc full time. It's
But I'm just joking. It's really cool to work with Stephen Bartlett, so you can learn a lot. So
but
whatever.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Steven, if you listen to this and if you're in Munich one day,
He was in Munich, like I think last month or something.
That's why, because he was on our podcast now.
Yeah.
no. We dropped a couple of names, but that name
No,
definitely
just-
didn't.
Doing stupid jokes.
Should we reach out to him?
Yeah, sure. Go
Okay.
for it.
I'll go for it.
So before we finish this episode, because we don't have that much time left, I would still like to talk a bit about you guys, because we have dropped a couple of like things that you guys do. But still, Sabi, do you want to start and share a bit your background and maybe like in 2 minutes how you came to Manager More and who are you? And I mean, I can share a fun fact. Sabi is not legally allowed to drive, but still he was very eager to drive a Tesla for a weekend. So he called up his friends who have a driver's license so he could drive in a
And
Tesla
I got
for a
them a
weekend.
Tesla. Hopefully Tesla
So you
managers
won-
are not listening to this. Yeah.
He won a test drive in a Tesla for a weekend.
Yeah.
So, but he's not legally allowed to drive.
So I got my friends to drive me all around. Shout out to Olivia and David. Okay, who I am. I'm Sabi, originally from Tunisia, moved to Germany 8 years ago, lived in Berlin for 2 years, then moved to Munich for the last 6
Best
years.
decision of his life.
I love Munich, but I also love Berlin. How did I come to Manager More? I actually started 2 businesses in my life. Before Sparc, I still consider it as a business. Yeah, they are not legally okayish.
So we realize Sabi doesn't like things that are legally allowed. He does things that are legal.
Whatever happens,
What
like
the fuck?
if
What-
I
what
want
kind
to
of
do
turn are we
something,
taking?
I'm going and do
Like,
it. I don't care.
I know about one business. What was the other one?
Which business do you know about?
You had like a little SaaS thingy.
That's the third business, actually.
Ah,
That's legal. That's
sorry,
legal.
Luis.
That's legal.
He has 3
That's legal.
businesses.
Okay, and Sabi, tell me what don't I know?
The 2 businesses, I started Airbnb business.
Oh,
with that,
true.
True.
That's a
But
good
that
story.
was really not legal.
Is it smart to like put this on the internet?
I mean, if I get sued, it's not smart. And the second business is basically buying and selling sneakers. I love sneakers, and I was like really into the game of like going ahead and buy Travis Scott sneaker and then like sell it for 10x, or like having 10 phones where you just need to go in every like website and wait for the 10 minutes. Maybe you'll get one chance of getting one sneaker, then resell it.
That sounds like a very Sabi thing to do.
Yeah, I can do that. I love doing this kind of random stuff. And then I started a third business, started a startup, and basically at that time I'm more a techie. I had no clue what to do business, how to do it, and how to and I was thinking I'm too cool to really understand the business side and how customers function, or I don't know, selling. I was like, if I build a good tech, everyone will want it. But it turned out the other way around, and after 3-4 months I had the feeling, okay, fuck, I'm lost. I can build tech, but I don't know how to do anything else. I started reaching out to a lot of people over LinkedIn, students especially, because easier to access. And then I got to know Manager More on CDTM. And the people from Manager More that were really willing to help. Some of them just jumped in a call for 2-3 hours with me, like trying to fix with me the pitch deck. Others like were shooting me these initiatives, or I don't know, I think about Exist, or I don't know, Explore. I will help you to in your application. I will look through it. And that stood out to me, like these people are really driven, really open, really smart. And when I kind of closed this chapter of my startup at the time, I was like, okay, fuck, I would love to be surrounded by these people, because it was so fun working with them. And since then I applied 3 times. And if I know what's Managing More like right now, and going back in time, I will do it. I will apply 10 times, 20 times. I will make sure I get in. I'll make sure to get in. Yeah, so that's me. Lewis?
Awesome. I didn't know about the sneaker stuff, for example.
So if you want a limited sneaker, it's not a trend right now. It's not trend anymore, but I can get you some sneakers.
It's before vibe coding.
Legally or unlegally?
I'm getting them is legally.
Vibe shopping was the...
No.
Not really vibe, I know. It's a very structured approach to shopping.
Yeah, there is one sneaker, like I got it for 190, sold it for, basically a friend sold it, but he was like caught with the idea of that. I sold it for 1,200, so
Wow.
that's one sneaker. So
Crazy.
it's a lucrative business, actually. If you kind of hit and you're lucky enough, you can make good money with it, but you cannot survive really long enough on it. You need
You should
really
live again in 2016, huh?
Would
Where
love
this
to.
works.
Limited drop.
Yeah.
Okay, Louis,
Yeah.
shoot.
Okay. So I'm Luis. Hi. For my background, I'm actually a film director. So I study at the University for Television and Film in Munich, which is a very good film school, I would say. So it's a very cool and privileged place to be. But I always had this other side inside of me that was just interested in business and economy and just interested in the people who make the world sort of run in a certain way. And I always had ideas. I was always doing like small image films on the side, doing the side hustles. And so at some point there was I think it was Meet and Mingle actually, that was at University of Television and Film. I'm not sure what it was, but there was some kind of thing going on.
Networking.
But just to let you know, Meet and Mingle is the gathering of all active Manager More once a month.
Yeah. Or it was some kind of Utum event. I don't really know, to be honest. But there were some people from Manager More there, and I talked to them, and I've just really felt that it was interesting, and I got along with them really well. And
Who's from Manager More was there?
That's what I wanted to ask.
it was Luis Erber from G34, for example, and the other guys, I don't really know their names anymore.
If you were the ones
And
reach out
talking to Louis, reach out to Louis. He would love to say thank you.
And yeah, basically, I mean, I always had this thought of like maybe founding sometime, but it was never really specific, you know. We had those thoughts and we were thinking with friends together, okay, what would be a nice product, whatever, what does the world need, but not really going the concrete steps. And then I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to check out a different bubble in Munich and to meet all those people that I got along with pretty well. And then I applied to Manager More, and I convinced them that actually filmmaking is like entrepreneurship, and then they let me in. And here I am.
Louis is indeed very unique. You are
I'm the weird one.
No,
the
you're
creative
one in 900.
in Arabic you say unique for us.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
You're really a special type of person.
Thank you.
So now we even got some
But it's like
vocabulary.
positive or negative?
It has a bad word in the middle, but it's
Sami could have said anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And we would have
It's
just believed it like, yes.
Sneaking it in.
high five to the Arabs.
And now, Ais, I also want to know your story now.
Yeah, you should know it, no?
But
I don't know.
not everybody knows it. The
No, I
internet
know,
doesn't
you
know.
just said it in the way like, oh, you never told
Let's
the story.
make it public.
Let's make it public. No, I also have quite an an unusual background for entrepreneurship, which shouldn't be an unusual background, but it's, yeah. So I studied political science and communication science in my bachelor's. And I always was a bit annoyed by the people I was surrounded by. Not because I didn't find great friends, but because I felt like they were okay with with the status quo, that you study and then you work.
Sophia, she's talking about you.
No. So I have a really good friend. I studied with her, and she's now also at Manage More. So I'm not talking about her, and I don't talk about all my good friends. It was just that I felt like that there's so much potential that we can use, but somehow we don't. And I joined TUM Hyperloop back then, and my team lead at TUM Hyperloop was
Gayatri?
No, it wasn't. I worked with Gayatri, who was with us in G40.
Yeah.
But it was Michael Stein.
Okay.
Awesome guy.
From G38, who was my team lead at TUM Hyperloop. And
Actually, we were in discussion with him to be in your place
for the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael. So Michael and we talked a lot about career, and I would even say he was kind of a mentor back then for me. I was very, very young when I joined TUM Hyperloop, and somehow Michael knew better than myself what I needed, and I think he started to convince me that Manage More was a great place and I should apply in December or in November. I remember it was around that time.
Work.
Yes, and we talked about it quite often, and I always said, no, I study political science and communication science, like, why should I join? And it's only for BWLer. And then I think 3 days before the deadline, I called him in May and said, I'm going to apply. And then he was the one really making sure that,
You have a decent application.
that I have a good application to get in. So I'm very thankful for Michael, because he knew that I needed a place where I could blossom. Do you remember what our
This episode turned really
G40 motto is,
this is a piece of content for recruiting.
True.
It's true. It really, but I mean, that's a part of our mission, right? That we want to support Manage More.
But also, we're really proud to be Manage More. It's really part of
our identity.
Your DNA now. Like,
yeah. You should have a tattoo, Sabi.
Yeah, Manage More.
Yes,
on
the back.
If you do it, I'll do it.
No, I will not do it.
Like one of the startups I work with, like from my imaging company.
Yeah,
like,
I know the story.
One of their customers actually got the startup's logo tattooed
with full time.
I mean, and one of the employees of the startup as well, but they did it together. But that's really crazy. Like, if one of your customers like tattoos your logo, this is another kind of commitment, I would say.
I don't think we can drop the name, but maybe we invite the founder to tell the story.
Then he can tell the story himself. Yeah. Yes.
So to finish up this episode and to also annoy Sabi a bit, we should maybe finish up with the motto. Is that the word in English? So when you start with Manage More, as a generation, you have to come up with a sentence that you want to be inspired by. And because I just said blossom, and because just Luis remembered it.
But I don't really remember the exact words to doing in the future.
I remember from G41.
It was growing. No. Ah, shoot, I also don't remember. That's so embarrassing. But it's
then G41 will take over and we'll tell you our own.
Blossoming,
let them talk.
Growing together and blossoming.
Growing together and blossoming in the future or something.
Something like that.
G41
flowering
was 1 for all, 4 for 1. 4 for 1, 1 for all. So we always stand with each other.
No,
but you're more than 4 people. It doesn't make sense to me. I think the logo from G40 is much more sensible.
Really, G40. Yeah.
No, it was blossoming the future by growing together.
Yes.
Did you grow together?
Was it.
Did you grow together?
Oh, excuse you?
It's so poetic.
Yes.
And we actually had these flowers, on our picture.
Yes,
and stuff.
blossoming the future by growing together. So with that.
So cringe.
So with that, I would love.
But I love G40. Not gonna lie. As people, you're really cool people. As individuals, you're really awesome. I have really good friends there. But as a generation, we are way better.
So this is a discussion for our next episode. I think we should do this more often.
What about to bring other people from Manage More and ask that question.
No, I don't
I
think this
think
is a good idea.
one thing that's missing is what actually, what can people expect from us in the next few weeks?
Ooh,
The
episodes.
next 2 weeks.
Next few weeks. I mean, we have a lot of episodes coming. Our goal from the beginning on was that this is not only a podcast, but this is also a community. So I think we will try to make this a community, a place where people feel safe, where people can exchange. Not only people in Munich, but also outside from Munich. And
if you have interesting names or people that you
Reach
want
out to
us,
And we
to
love
bring them
comments, by the way, and we will answer and we will
Subscribing
get in touch with
also.
you. Subscribing is
And
also awesome, of
90%
course.
of the viewers are not subscribed, and that was for me. Oh, wow.
you sound like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
This
something we can change.
Yeah, because I was like
70%.
running on the data, like,
you can subscribe down here
Yeah.
on the right or the left.
let's do it.
Okay, and maybe for the general mission, we're trying to in each episode to have one lesson or topic that we're talking about, where you can really also take some practical value for your life, but do that through the lens of looking at the lives and stories of people. So we're not only the story-focused startup, and we're not only doing workshops, but this crossover. What did people learn in their lives, and what's the interesting lessons? Can also be very specific, such as sales. What did you learn about sales? But so to have this combination, I would say, and we're also a little bit testing out now which direction is stronger for us, or which do people want more. So give us your opinions, give us your comments.
Yes.
We try to work for the community, not for us. Yes.
Also, I think I speak for all three of us. The support that we have received ever since we posted our first episode was incredible. And with that, a huge thank you for every single one, not only for everyone at Manager More who really reposted everything, sent the nicest messages, posting the trailer and also posting the episode was for us, or at least for me, a huge thing and also such a new experience, because it is at first a very new situation, maybe also a bit embarrassing if you post for the first time something.
I mean, it's crazy. We had on LinkedIn 10,000 views or something if we count together our 3 accounts.
I have already 10,000, and I was like,
have-
wow.
You-
It never happened to me.
Wow, that's
10,000
crazy.
impression on a post. I was like, I'm still getting impression of that. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's a scary
guys.
experience,
It
and
is.
It's not normal that we get so much positive feedback and so many kind words. So thank you a lot. Thank you for every like, for every share, for every
For everything.
Yeah,
Thank
really.
you for everything. Thank you for standing by us, and thank you for listening to this episode. And with that, let's all
That's the end of the sneak peek in our more private sites.
on the podcast
Let's
Maybe
keep
to be
this
continued.
Park. Let's keep this park always alive.
alive.
Yeah.
And let's blossom the future by growing together.
Okay.
All right. To be honest, I enjoyed it a lot.
This was a lot of fun.
It's fun, yeah. Sparc is proudly presented by Ripplefilm, storytelling for tech, B2B and beyond.